Over the last handful of months, one franchise kept consistently coming up on the Nintendo Byte podcast over and over again that I had never played before. No, we're not talking about Dragon Quest, folks. I have at least tried out Dragon Quest Builders 2, although that's not the main franchise, but whatever. No, I'm talking about a franchise I had previously never even had an inkling to try. Co-host Gamebird Classic swears by it and calls it one of his favorite franchises of all time. Now look, I have no idea if Gamebird and I have the same game tastes, but the recommendation was always strong. That franchise is, of course, as you see on screen, Yakuza. Yakuza. Okay, look, you all know at this point the pronunciations are not my strong point. The larger emphasis here is this is a franchise I had never really even thought about trying. A huge reason for me is that I have this odd thing about me where I just don't enjoy foreign language voice acting with English subtitles for the entirety of a game, show, or movie. If you give me some quality English dubs, I am more likely to enjoy the overall experience. I don't fault the franchise for being that way, but it did make me never think twice about playing it. That all changed with the release of Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. It advertised itself having English dubs, which instantly made me consider the game. That's why when Sega and RGG Studio reached out to sponsor this video, I actually figured this was the perfect time for me to finally give the franchise a try. It also helps that I was told that Yakuza 0 is actually a prequel to the other games, meaning it is indeed the perfect entry point for new players to the franchise. This also makes it a great starting point for new players on Nintendo Switch 2. Or at least, that's what I was assuming heading in. See, the franchise is expanding on Switch 2, as Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2, which are remakes of Yakuza 1 and 2, are also arriving on Switch 2 on November 13th. Everything is lining up for new players right now. Okay. I am a new player, and most of this video, I'll be talking about my experience from that perspective. But there is stuff for veterans of the franchise too. The game has 25 plus new minutes of cutscenes, a new online multiplayer mode, and of course that English dub. The game is also running at 60 frames per second in docked and handheld with a crisp 4K with upgraded textures in docked mode to boot. I think we all benefit from this, but as a new player, honestly, I couldn't tell you what's better, because this is it. This is my first experience with the franchise. The game takes place in 1980s Japan, as you spend a huge chunk of the game playing as protagonist Kazuma Kiryu. I think I got that one right. Let me know, veterans. That said, I'm going to avoid a lot of the character names moving forward. Remembering how to pronounce that one, even close to right, already took me days of practice. I promise I am trying. You are part of what is essentially the Japanese mafia. You are towards the bottom rung of the organization, seemingly as a Yakuza. But there is a lot of shady things going on inside the organization. You start out by roughing up someone to get money from them for a loan shark, but quickly become entangled in a much larger mess as there's a turf war going on, a murder, and somehow you're the one to blame for all of it. I am not trying to spoil too much here, because if you're a new player looking to get into this, the story is one of the biggest standouts in the game. Seriously. This story is crazy in all the right places, and it just keeps getting more wild, intense, and fun the deeper into the game you get. I haven't beaten this game yet, but I know the ending is going to be something I can't predict, as I have been wrong about everything the whole time with what I thought would happen next. It's so engaging. Honestly, it could be one of the best stories I've ever experienced in a video game. And yeah, I'm not exaggerating. It is that good. Okay, so we'll steer from the story because, again, I really think you need to experience this firsthand. So what about the actual gameplay and combat? It uses a street brawler beat 'em up style of gameplay mixed with a little bit of RPG improvement systems. You can use the money you earn to upgrade. The system can be as complex or as simple as you want, and with varying difficulty levels, you can really tune the experience to be exactly what you need to enjoy it. Honestly, this is just a lot of fun, especially as you get into the game's version of boss fights. Again, no spoilers, but the fights are intense and interesting. Now, one thing I was always told about Yakuza is while the story can be wild and the gameplay can be fun, there was always this strangeness about it when it comes to crazy side stuff you can do that is really engaging. And they weren't lying. Early on in the game, it forces you to try out one of these side things in karaoke. No, seriously, I didn't see that coming at all. And yeah, it's a rhythm-based game, and let's just say I'm probably actually better at singing on a microphone than I am trying to get the button presses down. But it doesn't stop there. After a few chapters, as that's what this game's story runs on, it opens up and lets you explore the city you're in, which then lets you experience even crazier stuff. Do you want to go bowling? You totally can. Do you want to take a few swings in the batting cage? They have you covered. There is so much side optional content like this, the game becomes just fun to live in. Honestly, while I have been told about this stuff before, experiencing it firsthand was magical. As a newcomer to the series, almost every aspect of this game has been impressive so far. This may actually be the best third-party game on Nintendo Switch 2 so far. And I know veterans already know how great this game is, but if you're a Nintendo fan who has never played this series, I am telling you, this is the place to start. You won't regret it. Of course, the game does feature a multiplayer mode. Honestly, I don't need this mode to enjoy the game and recommend it, but more content is always welcome. In the multiplayer mode, you are doing some online co-op where you playing alone with 3 CPU allies, or you can team up with 3 actual friends to take down mobs of different enemies in the world. There are 6 different challenge missions, 6 different locations, and 60 playable characters to unlock in this multiplayer mode. This mode puts a heavy emphasis on the game's combat system and just becomes highly addicting to play. Here, just take a look for a minute or so at some of the multiplayer in action, and you'll better understand what I mean. So, should you, as a new player on Switch 2, give Yakuza 0 Director's Cut a try? I think the answer is quite obvious at this point. Even past this sponsored video, I'm going to be beating the game for the story alone. But the fact that gameplay is so addicting along the way just makes this a must-play experience for any new player. Thanks again to Sega and RGG Studio for sponsoring this video.